All right, gang, welcome back to our investment challenge here on Riverview. It is now June, and we are beginning the process here of turning this area over here into a field that will more than likely have wheat or something along those lines in it, mostly for the chickens, but we're also going to probably at some point utilize it to an extent for the pigs as well, with our new production that we put in. Now, in hindsight, I probably should have held off on putting that production in for a while because we're really not going to have the stuff we need for that production for a while, but too late now, right? Could have used that money elsewhere on other things, but then we'd have to be saving up for that anyway. So since we had the money, I just figured I might as well just go ahead and do it then, and so that's what we did. So, but we're going to go ahead and turn this into an actual field, instead of just being a weeded grass field. We're going to turn this into a wheat, oat, barley, whatever we decide to put in it. Probably wheat 9 times out of 10. Mostly because the chickens can take that, and the chickens are literally right next to us, so. Now, it's not going to be a perfect field by any means, and what I mean by that is it's not going to be a perfectly straight field. It's going to have some curves and or curvatures to it, I guess I should say. But that's okay. I got a little close to the hill over there, or the mountain, or whatever you want to call it, back there, but we'll make it work. If I have to remove some of it, I have to remove some of it. How's everybody doing today? Hopefully you're all doing well. Things are pretty good here, all things considered. Recording this well, I guess it's the day after the Derby, technically. I was going to say it was 2 days after the Derby, but I guess we're not quite there yet, but I might eclipse that in this episode. We're close to midnight. In any case, I did not do good at the Derby. I did release on the channel, just made a post of it, of who I was planning to bet on, and I kind of shifted gears slightly on Sandman because I found out that he was not good in the mud. He had never won a race in the mud. So I did not bet on him, which was a good thing. That saved me a little bit of money, but I just didn't win at all the entirety of the day. I just was not picking the right horses. I got a couple seconds, a couple thirds throughout the day, but I didn't win one time, and that's not normal for me. I normally win at least one race, but yeah, it was a rough day for me. I didn't win any money. My wife was up, I think, like $10, and she was upset for only being up $10. And I'm like, at least you're not down what I'm down. So it was still fun though. We had a good time, right? We were there with friends hanging out. It was a good time. Anybody else bet on the Derby? Did you win? Let me know down below. I was not expecting, with how sloppy the track was, I was not expecting it to be two of the favorites to win the race, first and second, to go first and second. I bet on all the horses who have won and been on sloppy tracks, and they weren't really even within a competition at all. Another horse I put a bet on was now I'm forgetting the name of the horse. Golden Nugget or Gold Nugget or something like that, who was a horse that they only paid $2,500 for that horse, which is crazy. I thought that would have been a cool story if somehow that horse pulled out a top 3 finish. The fact that he was even in the Derby to begin with was pretty amazing. They only spent $2,500 on that horse, and it's in the Derby. But all those horses were, at some point, some line of bloodline to Secretariat. So, pretty crazy. That's the first time that's happened. And I also think it's pretty crazy that even if it's a minuscule amount, which I'm assuming it was, that you could get a horse that had some kind of, or some level of a bloodline back to Secretariat for $2,500. That's crazy to me. It's crazy. Anyway, hopefully you did well on it. Hopefully you made some money on it, and I did not. But that's okay. So this is going to be a relatively larger field than I actually expected, now that I'm actually, looking back at it from this angle, and we've got it plowed up. So this is a pretty decent-sized field here. This should make us a decent amount of money. Now, maybe we get rid of some of those trees, and we can expand this field a little bit. I don't know. Tree work is not the most exciting thing to watch. I've mentioned that more times than I can probably count. But but they do produce you a decent amount of money depending on when it is, and those are some pretty big trees. So I could also lease the Tree Devour mod, go the wood chip route, although right now is not the time to do it. If we were to do that, we want to wait till the end of the year, or the very beginning of the year, like January. Now that I'm seeing that, I'm just going to fix it. There's no way I'm going to be able to, even if I can drill it, or seed it, plant it, whatever, I'm not going to be able to harvest that. That hill is too severe. Bear with me for a minute here, gang. We're gonna... Whoa! That hill just caused that. That was fun. Alright, that will work. Let's see if we can fix that. Hopefully that's better. I don't know if that is any better now that I'm looking at it, though. And I'll fix some of that up here off camera. I'll bring some grass over. Meadow grass, whatever you want to call it. Alright, that should work. It's a little less severe on that hill then. It was a pretty steep incline once you hit the rocky portion of that hill. And I clearly did, so... So today, we're going to put something on the ground here, I believe. Well, actually, now that I say that, is wheat and barley available? I don't think they are, actually, now that I'm saying that. They are not. I thought they were later on in the season, but for some reason I was thinking that we could put it in this month. For this month, really, in this field, if we wanted to put something in it, which we're not going to do, it would really... Well, there's none of them, actually. Green beans, I guess, the only thing we actually have a drill for, or seeder for, but... we're not going to do that. So we're just going to plow it up and get it prepped and ready to go. Now, we might put some oilseed radish in here. A lot of you have been mentioning, why don't you put oilseed radish in? We might do that. We might do that. Because we could do that and then, you know, plow it up afterwards, and it'll have an application of fertilizer on the ground for us. That's one less thing we'd have to do when the time comes. So we might do that. Might do that. So we're going to do that. Then we've got to do a second application of fertilizer on the field, the soybean field, the small soybean field we made over on our initial starting plot. So we got to do that. And I believe that is the only major things we have to do today. I don't think this is ready yet. It's not. It's going to be ready soon, but it's not ready yet. Obviously, it's going to be ready in August, I guess, 2 months from now. So we'll look at some contracts as well, try to knock out a few of those. The used market, there is still that unrealistic header. If we buy it, we're not going to use the unrealistic setting on it. There's an unrealistic setting, which basically means you can harvest the field in seconds. We're not going to do that setting. If we buy it, we're just going to utilize it as the width it is, because it has that option. Even though it says an unrealistic header, it does have the option for you to utilize the actual length of the header as it currently sits. Which is what we would do, right? Now, could we get a smaller header? Certainly we could, absolutely. But you got to remember, we're going to be putting corn in this big field. That is one of, if not the biggest, it's the second biggest, I think, maybe the third biggest field on the map, right? So really, we're going to want a big header like that. I mean, that's how I feel. I don't think going the approach of any other way is the smart thing to do. It would take us the entirety of the episode to do that. And as you know, I like to break the episodes up into multiple things we're doing. So realistically, if we can figure out a way to purchase that today and still have a little bit of money to stay afloat, we're going to go for it. Really depends on what's out there from a contract perspective. I have not looked at it at all. We will do that here in a second. Let me get up here to the end here. We'll flip around and we can take a look at the contracts and see what's out there. Alright, let's see. Deadwood, a massive fertilizing contract. I didn't even see that field. It might be the 5th or 6th largest. It's still a pretty large field, nonetheless. Harvesting, we've got a hoeing contract, mowing, spraying. Okay, so there's a couple things we could do for sure. Whoop! There's a couple things we could do for sure. Man, I really screwed that up. I guess I should have just stopped over, pulled over to the side and looked instead of continuing to plow. Oh, well. So we'll figure out what we're going to do contract-wise there and try to knock out one of those, possibly two, depending on where we're at time-wise for the episode itself. Now, I saw recently that Crestu had finished his playthrough on this one. I don't know if he switched in the middle like I did or not, but I do know that at the beginning he was playing without seasons on. I decided to switch that, I don't know, 4 or 5 episodes in, something like that, and turn seasons on, just to make it a little bit more difficult for me. Initially, I had planned on not having it on at all. I initially had planned on doing this and trying to make it, you know, a shorter series, but based off of feedback from all of you, it does make sense, I think, to have the seasons on pretty much every challenge. So we turned it on. Didn't really help us that much. We're still pretty far away from accomplishing this, right? We've got to get the pigs going still. The chickens are going to be pretty close here. Once we have this harvested, we'll be able to put the chickens in. Nice thing about the cows is whenever the time comes, the plot we're going to buy and we're going to put the cows on, they already have cows there. I don't know how many cows are in there, but they already have cows there, so we can pretty quickly finish the series once we are able to purchase that, I think. I think he did a lot of leasing, a lot more leasing than I've been doing. I've only been leasing like one thing an episode. I probably should consider leasing a little bit more than I do. But it feels a little bit OP to just lease everything to accomplish this, if that makes any sense. That's why I've been trying to slowly but surely purchase things. But I think maybe we'll start considering leasing a little bit more than we had been in the past to try to help speed it along a little bit more. But I just don't want to go overboard with it. So we'll see about this header. I mean, I like it, but again, it's only going to be utilized for corn and sunflowers. It's almost not really worth it, I think. Unless we just constantly do corn and sunflowers in that field. Excuse me. Which we might do, actually, based off of the pig food situation. But, I mean, there's probably going to be a chance that we're going to want to switch it up every once in a while, put something else in there. We might need something else a little bit more, you know, like soybeans or something, and maybe we put corn over here for a little while and wheat over in the small field for a while, you know what I mean? I don't know. We'll have to see how things go, I guess. So we're nearly done here. When we're done with this, we're going to take this plow back. I still have the belt, conveyor belt, forage wagon system, and the trailer up here. So we're going to make a couple of trips back and forth here to take these back. I think I might have said at the end of the last episode that I would take it back. I didn't end up doing that clearly, so we're going to do it today, though. It's not a big deal. I'm going to try to expand it over here in the corner ever so slightly. It might not be the smartest idea, but I feel like I can make this slightly larger down here. There's just a little bit of it here missed. It's not going to matter that much probably in the grand scheme of things, but just to make myself feel a little bit better about it, it's going to help. All right, good. We flip around here. This should be the last pass here. And, yep, we can take everything back to the yard. All right, we're heading back here, gang. We're actually going to take this grass and drop it all off at the sheep. Now, I made a mistake earlier. I said that the only thing left to do here is to fertilize this field right over here for the second application. I was wrong. Our other grass field is already ready to harvest. Now, it did have some hail damage, so we could, I guess, wait another month and get it all to the same length. But I think we're going to go ahead and mow it today, because why not? We've got the time. We've got the availability to do so, so let's do it. We also have quite a few things over here, as you can see, that we need to take over to our production. Speaking of that, I don't know, it might be beneficial for us to sell some of that today. I don't know actually when, and I should already know this by now, but I don't. I don't know when they're best actually to sell outright. Not right now for the goat milk, I can tell you that. Wool, I think it's somewhere in like April or May. Yeah, April and May. It's actually not terrible right now, and really we could use a little bit of money. So I think we're going to sell some of that wool outright. We were going to take some of it and put it into the production, certainly. Well, actually, now that I say that, we should look at the production itself and see how it's doing. If it has enough in there, we might just sell them all outright at this point. Let's just drop this off right here for now. Temporarily, of course. All right, let's zoom in here a little bit. Let's go grab the forks. And on the process here, we'll jump out and take a look here. There's 32,000 liters of wool in here. So in my eyes, that is plenty of wool. And the fabric wool, the clothes can't, the wool can't keep up with the clothes right now. That's the problem. The fabric, I'm sorry, the fabric can't keep up with the clothes right now. Yeah. There's plenty of wool in there. So we will hold off on that for now. Let's just go ahead and sell these. That's going to give us a little bit more money to play with, which is really what we need. I'm also considering putting down a generator of some sort. Now, in the rules of this series, we are allowed to use generators, but we cannot use any high dollar. And what we mean by high dollar are like the government signs, things like that, or maybe some that are just super unrealistic, right? We're not going to be doing that. We never do that. I never would want to do that. That would just make the challenges way too easy. But we are able to put some down. I think I'm going to finally put one down. We've been going for quite a while here, dealing with the loan interest. I want to try to offset that a little bit. Now, it is a high loan. We have paid off a good chunk of it already, but it is still a high loan, and really, whatever we put down, it's really not going to compensate for the loan, but it will certainly help us pay for some of it. And it'll be a little bit less overall, if that makes any sense. So let's try to stack these guys up here. Well, there goes one. That went well. I am not the best at stacking stuff. I've said this many times before, and I'm sure you've watched the channel for a while, more than likely. I do the best I can here, gang, but I am not the greatest at stacking stuff. I'm a little bit better, I think, and I wouldn't say better. It's probably not the right word. I do a little bit better of a job with pallets than I do of bales. Bales I have the worst time with. It wasn't terrible, all things considered. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't good, but it wasn't terrible. All right, so let me get all these stacked up here, gang. I'm going to take the goat milk over to the production itself. These are not going to be going anywhere today. They're just going to go to the production. And let's see if we can make ourselves a little bit of money off this wool, huh? All right, all of that's accomplished. We can start mowing the grass now, which is going to be really good for us. Now, what I want to do with this grass here is actually put it into some kind of a silage maker again. So we had the one before, which worked fine. There was nothing wrong with it, although evidently I don't have the front mower on here. Let me see if I can fix that really quick. Which worked fine, but it didn't have a big storage, right? That was the biggest problem, is that it was not able to store enough of the silage in there for us, or enough grass in there for us, I guess. So I'm going to look and see if we can put something else down. Now, I don't necessarily like to utilize the same thing all the time whenever I'm doing different series, right? I like to at least change it up slightly. So I'm not sure what's going to be available out there for me to utilize as far as a silage silo goes. The other option we could attempt, and I'm not sure how well it would work, we could go with a pit perspective here. Again, I don't know exactly how good it would work, if it would even work at all. But we could try that approach. So we'll see. We will see how we get along. In that time lapse, we got all the wool sold. As you can see, we jumped all the way up to 60 grand, which is great. Also did the fertilizing of the small little soybean field, which is also great. Progress being made there. Good progress. So it's good, man. It's good. We're going to get a good amount of grass off this field, too. So that's the reason why I made the last-minute split decision, I guess, to change tactic and put the grass that we got off the other field that is going to be turned into some kind of a wheat field, right, up by our chicken area, to put that into the sheep pen, because, and the goat pen, because, well, we've got this field ready to harvest now as well. So didn't really need all of that grass right now, so I figured, let's take that, put it in there with the sheep. They are chewing through that grass. They had about 25,000 left, so they weren't like anywhere near an area where there was any kind of concern. But now we won't have to worry about them for another probably 6 months as far as food goes, right? Which is good. Now you can already see there's that area right there where there's the hail damage. You can already see that clear as day. But that's all right. I mean, we're not going to be able to get the grass out of that for now, but it'll grow back. The good thing about grass is it constantly grows back. You don't have to worry about replanting it or anything like that. Now, what I'm going to do here after I get a bit of a headland pass here done, I'm actually going to put this on a worker for a brief period of time. We're going to do most of this, but I'm going to put it on a worker for a brief period of time. Reason for that is kind of what we talked about, right? I want to put some kind of silage silo or something down for the silage, and then I'm going to look at a generator as well. I talked about that just a little bit ago. We're going to put some kind of a generator down to help offset some of the costs that we're incurring from the loan, among other things. So we're going to do that as well, just to try to help us out as we move along. It's not going to be anything outrageous. I might look at something that gives us a little bit more money than what we're utilizing currently in our one tile challenge, which is very minuscule, the amount that we get out of that. Somewhere, you know, maybe 4,000 a month or something like that, or 3,000 a month, I don't know. Something like that would probably be beneficial, because we're going to still be losing money every month, even if we have that. But like I said, we are not allowed to utilize any kind of like the government signs. The government sign stuff is super unrealistic, man. Even if you did the low one, you're still getting like 10,000. No, I think it's more than that. I think it's like 40,000, isn't it? I don't know. I don't remember now. But anyway, you're still getting a good amount of money every month. I think it is 40,000, the minimum one, the lowest one you can get. So anyway, you're getting a lot of money one way or another, I guess is what I'm trying to get at. We're not going to be doing anything near that. Not even close. Alright, I'm going to put this on a worker. I don't actually have any clue what they're going to do with this field. It's an awkward shaped field, so I have no clue what they're going to do. Looks like the way that I have it set is the way they're going to go with it. So we'll go ahead and she can take care of whatever she wants to do. She can do it however she wants. We'll go ahead and jump out of here. Now, the silage silo, where are we going to put it at? That's a great question. I don't know that answer. I might have to go out in Mod Hub, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't remember what exactly I have from a silage silo perspective besides what we've already utilized. I do know there are a couple that I have that can be used that we have not used, I think. Hayloft, that's not really what we need. Fermenting silo, this is what I was considering using in the one tile challenge, so I don't necessarily want to put it here, and I don't really think it's what we need anyway. What else we got in here? It might be under productions, actually, now that I'm saying this, or factories. I call them productions because that's what they are, but it's factories in the game. There are a few in here that I do know that we have. So like this one's 50 grand. It's pretty expensive. Like I really don't want to spend that kind of money to make silage, right? But these can also make pig food. I just now noticed that. Did you see that? Wow. I would have loved to saw that earlier. I didn't know that that actually occurred. Huh. 75,000. What is this? 20. We're not going to get enough money back for that. That might have been why I went with that. I didn't even look at that, at least. I'd also like to potentially start doing a BGA here as well. That would be pretty helpful, I think. It's ventilation. Again, there's a fermenting silo for 30 grand. This one we have utilized. I think we're actually utilizing it in our Triple Threat Challenge, which we haven't done an episode on for a while, and that's because I'm trying to finish it off, and then Temple's just taking me forever to get everything I need over there. This is what we were utilizing before. It was fine, just doesn't have enough space. Let me look around. All right, so I decided to go with this, gang. It was not cheap. It was $45,000. We've used something similar to this on our Survive 25 challenge, which is currently on pause. But we've used something similar, but we're going to go with this. It will work. It does have the option for some other pig food choices, but the pig food here, it requires sugar beets and or potatoes, and I've mentioned that I don't really want to do those unless I absolutely have to. So we'll just kind of gloss over the fact that it does have that option because these do not require that. It can just be, a little bit easier. Stuff that's a little bit easier for me to make. So we're not going to utilize this for the pig food, even though we technically could. We're only going to be utilizing this specifically for grass. Maybe we do some other things, potentially some seeds, or maybe, I don't know. But either way, really what we're going to be utilizing it for right now is specifically for grass silage. Now, for that, it just requires grass, 100 grass, 1,000 grass to 1,000 silage, 240 cycles per month. Should be pretty good for us. I'm going to spend a tiny bit of money here, although we don't have a whole lot of money left. But I'm going to spend a tiny little bit of money here trying to spruce this up a little bit more. And by spruce it up, I mean just add a little bit more texture to it. With some more ability for us to be able to drive there, make it look a little more realistic than what it might otherwise look. Good. That'll work for me. Nothing major. Just give us enough room for us to be able to turn up into here and, unload or load, however we want to do it. Workers going and doing a relatively okay job. We'll have to clean up a lot of that. Now we got 15 grand, which is not a lot of money. So that kind of limits us anyway on what we're going to be able to put down for a generator. I said we were going to put down some kind of a generator today. I'm not sure which one we're going to do. We've been utilizing this one in our one tile challenge, which is relatively realistic, I think. The $15,000 one here would basically take up all the money we have, but it would provide us with $4,200 a month, which is reasonable. I think that's the one we're going to go with, I think. Ideally, I'd like to do this one. Maybe we do a contract. It depends on really what kind of time we have here. So, having said all of that, let's go ahead and take over for the worker here. Let's get the mowing done, and we'll see where we are as far as the time goes on the episode itself. And as long as we have the time to do a contract, we will certainly do one. It might not be one of the bigger ones, but we will do one. Like I said, I'd like to get that $24,000 one. I haven't used it before. I want to use it, and I feel like this is a good opportunity for us to do so. And I'm not too concerned about the money because we've got this grass here, which is going to turn into silage, and we can be able to sell pretty much immediately. So that will provide us with a decent chunk of change. And just shortly after that, we're going to have that canola field, which really we're not going to be utilizing canola for anything. So we'll store it, of course, until it's the best time to sell it. But that will provide us with income if we absolutely have to have it. That's a dire straight situation. We can certainly sell some of that to recoup some funds if we need them. But I think this silage we're going to make off this field will be sufficient to hold us off. Obviously, if the canola is ready to harvest in the August time period or around that, it's not going to be best to sell then. Canola, I think, is in November, so we're going to have to hold on to it for a couple of months. But that's perfectly fine with me. And always, as always, we can always just, revert to some kind of a contract if we are in absolute need of money. I don't think I mentioned it, but I'm going to edit it out. When I was doing that time lapse, the battery on my controller died, so that was a bit embarrassing, but I'll edit that portion out. But you might just see a bit of a jump cut real quick during that time lapse, or maybe I guess you would have saw that if you're still watching, I guess, at this point. But that's the reason why it was accident on my part. I did not see that my battery was dying. Normally it pops up and tells me, and maybe it did. Maybe I was looking at something else on the edit for OBS or whatever it may have been when that happened. I don't know, but either way, I apologize for that little bit of a blunt jump cut in the middle of a time lapse. Was not as planned, let's put it that way. Alright, we are pretty much done here, gang. I'm going to finish this last little strip up here, and I'll go put this away, and then we need to get the windrower out and try to get this all put together as much as possible, so then we can pick it up quickly and throw it into our brand new silage production. Alright, let's go ahead and drop the grass off here. The field's all done. Wasn't too bad. Wasn't too hateful. Perfect. I don't know how much this actually stores. I should have looked at that. Oh, a lot. 2 million. Oh, plenty. Good, good, good. This is what we needed then. Cost us a little bit more than I wanted to spend, but it was worth every penny at this point, right? So let's go put this over here and away. We are getting a little long in the episode here. I'm going to consider doing a smaller contract, though, as well today. So we're going to put this away. We're going to look and see what's out there. Maybe any new contracts potentially came out. I don't know. Probably not, but we're going to look and see anyway. I probably should have folded up that pipe, but it'll be all right. It'll be all right. You can easily see the two spots where we had some hail damage now, right? Where it's got a little bit of grass. It's a little bit longer than what we just mowed. All right, so let's just park that there for right now. And let's see what we got out here contract-wise. There are more contracts, so that's good. There is a fertilizing contract we could do. Fertilizing is relatively simple. I enjoy doing fertilizing, but this one would take us a while. If we're going to do fertilizing, you might as well do both. The hoeing contracts also enjoy doing, but they are large fields. Mowing is... We could do that one mowing field, I guess. Although we just did a bunch of mowing, but... some spraying contracts, that's a potential, I guess. We do have some stuff up there that we could utilize. Some of the herbicide up there that we need to utilize for something. So I guess that's an option, but I'm afraid we'd have to make multiple trips there. I'm leaning towards the mowing here. This mowing contract right here. Alright, we're going to do that mowing contract. It shouldn't take us long to do it. It's a relatively small field. We've got a wider mowing width than what we would have been able to get if we just leased the equipment. So we're just going to use our own here. Give us a couple extra $1,000 out of this, which is good. It won't get us to the point where I wanted to get to for our generator. But who knows? Maybe we will get there by the time we're done with the mowing. Maybe we can sell some of the silage and get there. I don't know. I doubt it, but... Let's run up there and get it done really quick. Alright, we're pulling up here now. We actually ran out of time to being able to buy the header anyway, so it was probably smart for us to pass on it. I really was considering it for many reasons, and I've explained that a number of times. I won't go into it again, but it was probably smart we passed. Alright, so this should be... Yep, this is the field. Perfect. So we took a little shortcut to get there. Went across another grass field, but no big deal. Alright, and as soon as we get moving here, we're underway. Yeah, this won't take us long at all to do this. I just did a long time lapse. I did 2 long time lapses in this episode already, actually, so I won't put a time lapse in here, but we'll do a little bit of discussion here, and then we'll do some jump cut edits. Or either I'll just stop the recording, or I'll jump cut edit it in the edit of the actual video itself, one or the other. Maybe a little bit of both, who knows. This is good though, man. We've got a good approach here. We've got a path forward as we've kind of been, you know, shifting gears ever so slightly here in the last couple of episodes, right? Move some stuff around. Wasted a little bit of money in the process doing that, but I do think it sets us up better for the end game here. And, yeah, there's some silage that's already being made. The silage is being made quickly, actually. So I think there's a high probability, and I don't know the actual price of silage right now, but I think there's a high probability that we will be able to sell some of it today and get to the amount we want to be able to put that generator down, if it makes sense. I don't know if it makes sense to do it right now or not. Man, we are having some major issues getting up this hill for some reason. Holy moly. Why are we having such a hard time getting up this hill? I said it wasn't going to take us that long. At this point, it may end up taking us long. Why is it taking us so long to get up this hill? Anyway, silage. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. I mean, silage doesn't really fluctuate that much. We've talked about that many times, right? It's like $12 of fluctuation. So really, no matter when, I'll be selling it. But as you can see, we've already got... wrong thing. We've already got 6,000 liters of silage in there. So you factor that in with the amount, we're going to make some decent money off this. Because we've got another 50,000 liters in there. Oh, well, 46,000 liters now, I guess. This might have been a mistake. This is taking a while. I know early on in the series, we were thinking about potentially buying this plot of land, and now that I'm seeing how slow it is for us to get up this hill with our current tractor setup, I'm really happy we shifted gears a little bit on that one and did not buy this field. This would have been awful to continue to try to mow every single time, and I think moving forward, I'm going to try to make a mental note here to not do any mowing on this field until we either, one, get a larger tractor, or two, lease the items instead of using our own. But that's alright, we are making progress. It's very, very slow progress, but we are making progress nonetheless. We're 75% through here. Quick autosave here. We can look and see. We've got 11,000 liters of silage now, so we're chugging through the silage as well, the grass for the silage as well. I think we're going to hold off on doing the generator just based off of the time for this field itself. We can do that maybe in the next episode. Next episode, we're probably going to be doing, quite frankly, a lot of contracts anyway. We're not going to have a whole lot that we're going to be able to do. We're just going to be kind of in the waiting game, in the waiting stage, I should say. We will need to put a second application, I should say, of fertilizer down on the grass field before the end of this episode. I was hoping to end off with that and it'd be relatively quick. But, yeah, we're going to need to do that. I'm going to need to come all the way up here and get some fertilizer, too, because we don't have a buying silo anymore. There's an option, I guess. There's a chance, I should say, that maybe we could put one down. I think I got some new ones that are relatively inexpensive. I'll have to look at that. I don't know what the actual price of those are. Now, the buying silo in this series, just like it is for pretty much every series for me, you're only technically allowed to do it for buying things like that, fertilizer, seeds, you know, liquid fertilizer, whatever, herbicide. You're not really allowed to utilize it for anything else because you have the choice, or the chance, I guess, the option, within those buying silos to potentially buy, you know, whatever you need. Harvest, right? I could buy pig food out of that. We're not really allowed to do that. Or you're not supposed to do that, I should say. And I'm not going to be doing that. Like I said, I could go out right now and just, you know, buy food for the pigs and the chickens and the cows, and we could end this series quickly. I'm not going to do that. I did that at the very beginning when we first started for the sheep, just because we didn't have any grass or anything for them, but I haven't done it since. And that's my goal, is to try to make sure that when we finish this series, the food that they're eating is from our own stuff and not just from the shop. That's just a little bit too easy, in my opinion. Now, we could put the second application of fertilizer down on the grass in the next episode. Maybe we do that. Maybe we do that. That's probably a smarter play. A smarter investment, smarter play, smarter just all around the board there, Z. Maybe we do that instead. I'm going to turn everything off. It's much easier to get up the hill with everything off than it is with them on. We're still going slow up the hill, but we can at least hit 8-9 mile per hour, whereas before we're 3-4, maybe 6 if we're lucky. Hopefully one more pass here will do it. All right, this is going to do it, gang, and we're going to leave the episode at this point as well. Like I said, we'll do the production in the next episode. We'll sell the silage in the next episode, and yeah, we'll move along in the series. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I would greatly appreciate it if you smash the like and subscribe button for me. Both of those things are absolutely free to do, and they help me out more than you could possibly imagine. Thoughts, questions, comments, ideas, let me know down below. If you want to become a member and get access to early videos like this one, that link is in the description. Discord's in the description. Thanks to my 15 members. Cannot thank you guys enough. All that good stuff. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next one.